Cohort 9, I am going to give you a verbal update as we're going from California to Prescott. And every once in a while, maybe I'll just let you know who you're talking to. Otherwise, enjoy the scenery. So, recently, you have been working on the thesis. And I just wanted to go through what I was hoping would happen with that. One is, I wanted everyone to read a thesis and discuss it in a group. Now, a thesis is a slice of research, and in this thesis, I think, with the ones that I picked, there was a nicely delimited methodology section along with the other sections. Some sections, some theses were better than others, but it did give you a chance to read that slice of research. One of the things that I'd like people to think about is in your dissertation, that also is a slice of research. It's one piece of your research agenda. And your research agenda could go on for 20 or 30 or 40 years. And so that's why to think of your dissertation as a very huge project could be, one, a little overwhelming, two, it could take a long time to finish, and three, it can get a little muddled. So the clarity to do a slice of research can be very helpful. Now, it doesn't mean you can't do a more project-based. Kiara Demore, whose survey you were looking at this week, she certainly is doing a project-based dissertation, probably under the umbrella of action research, as she actually creates a Children in Nature club and follows that for the course of the year for her dissertation. So anyway, so that was objective number one, is to read a thesis and to understand how it is put together from that student's point of view. Objective number two was to discuss and look at the rubric piece. So in looking at a rubric, one has to be careful not to make really a paint-by-numbers rubric, because in some classes, in undergraduate or secondary education or primary education, the rubric is you will do 27 words and have 2 names of people, and it's just really specific. Most of the groups did an excellent job of trying to have a rubric that gave you the general idea. Now, one of the considerations is how to have a rubric that gives you a nice general idea and have it be measurable. And that is certainly a consideration. I'd like you, that is why the third piece was there, to actually see if the rubric would work. One, in the thesis that you used originally, see how that really goes with the rubric. And frankly, it should have done pretty well. Certainly have some discussions and certainly be thoughtful about that. But it should have done pretty well because they passed. And at the same time, all of them could have some critique, because no master's thesis is perfect, just like no dissertation will be. And so that third objective is, does the rubric work? And that's where you look at yet another thesis that's not published yet. So this is in progress, and see if you can use this rubric to help the writer improve their thesis. And then the fourth objective would be to be able to give feedback. Not all of you are in education or going into higher education or secondary education, but being able to give feedback is crucial, pretty much in any area that you are. And in learning how to put together a dissertation, learning how to do research, to critique other people's research is probably one of the better ways to do it. The more methodology or method section you read, the better. So, To recap this, there are at least 4 objectives, but the 4 objectives are to read a thesis that was published, to get an idea of one that worked, one that passed. The second one was to understand more about rubrics, to share that as a group, and to see if you can construct a rubric that is measurable so that you can measure qualitative effectiveness, appropriateness to whatever degree, and at the same time not have too much of a paint by numbers thesis, a rubric. And then the third objective was to see if the rubric actually could be applied, and the fourth objective was to give feedback on that second thesis. So hopefully, understanding those objectives, which I think are as good understanding them in retrospect, because many of you jumped in and did well and did it, and also reflecting on them in retrospect is good, so that you can think about, well, how did that work, and what could I have done differently, in my critiquing or this, that, or the other. Anyway, good luck with that, and I wanted to just update you a little bit on what I was thinking with that.